Hi, and welcome to another episode of Pet Pals. I'm Bethany Davidson, the Humane Educator here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. And volunteer Tammy and I are going to introduce you to 10 of our adoptable pets that are available right now here at the shelter. First up, we have Whisper, and Whisper is just under a year old. She's anywhere between 10 and 12 months old. And she's been with us for about a month now. She is going to be, a very petite girl. She weighs about 7 pounds right now, which is average, anywhere from 7 to 11, something like that. But she's definitely on the smaller side. She has that forever kitten kind of a face to her. She is one of our cats that are color-coded as shy. However, she's very, very sweet once you give her the opportunity to show you her affectionate side. She likes to be petted. She likes to be interacted with. I was able to pick her up, no problem, carry her out here, put her on Tammy's lap. Initially, she was a little bit more nervous, but then she started looking around like she was exploring a little bit. She's not really trying to hide her face like some of the other cats that are really scared do. She's not trying to get down. She's just kind of slowly taking things in. So she's one of the cats that we would definitely want to encourage people to truly enforce that 10-day isolation period, just to give her a chance to settle in and be a little bit more comfortable in a new home. You put them in one room, all of your new cats, keep them separated from your existing cats, just to kind of get them acclimated from one small cage in the shelter to that one room that's a little bit bigger, and then the entire house, so they're not easily overwhelmed. Whisper has already been spayed, so she's got all of that taken care of, as well as her preventatives, her microchipping. All she needs now is a new forever family. If you are ready to take on the commitment that's involved with showing a shy cat how to be the best version and the most confident version of herself, then come in and visit with Whisper. She might even be a little bit of a lap cat for you. You can see her here at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. Our next two guests are brothers, and their names are George, who is here with me. He is white with orange tabby, and his brother Abe, who is with Tammy. He is orange tabby with white. So they're kind of just flip-flop versions of one another. They are approximately 3 years old. They were adopted from us 2 years ago when they were about 10 to 12 months old, and unfortunately they're just another set of animals that has been returned to us. These guys, from their previous owner, are said to be playful and friendly and lap cats. They're just your typical young adult male cats. They are better as a pair. They were adopted together because they were better together back when they were here previously, and they've only been with each other even longer now. So while it's not a requirement, it's definitely something that we're really looking to keep them together in a home environment. A lot of people come to the shelter looking for two cats. And so they pick out two different ones, and in my opinion, it's a lot easier to pick two that are already familiar with one another. You don't have to worry about the getting to know you period. They can be there to comfort each other as they're adjusting to a new situation, which can be stressful. So there's a lot of benefits from going ahead and adopting two that are already living together, have been familiar with one another. If these guys aren't what you're looking for and you're looking for something older, we do have older cats that have come in together as well. We have Sabrina and Boo Boo, who are 15 and 7 to 8 years old respectively, and then we have Callie and Spotty, who are 10 and 9 years old, who have previously lived together. Those guys, however, are not housed together in the same cage, but these big boys are. They're both a little bit overweight, so they could use a diet, or maybe a diet and a little bit more playtime to get some exercise in, but they're really sweet, they're really affectionate, not to mention incredibly handsome boys who are looking at another chance at a forever home. So, they've, in their 3 years of life, they've had a lot of different families. We're hoping that we can get them into one that's going to be permanent. If you're interested in adopting them, you do get a $20 reduction in your adoption fee when you adopt two pets at the same time. Most of the cats on our adoption floor are either domestic short hairs, medium hairs, or long hairs. It's not very often that we get a more exotic breed, if you will. But right now we do have something a little different on the floor in Neptune. Neptune is a two-year-old flame point ragdoll. So it's one of those cats that's going to have a little bit more grooming maintenance, obviously. They're known for being good pets, for being good with families and kids, according to what people have told me. However, poor Neptune here was brought in because apparently he was fighting with old cats. So I'm not sure if that means like the old cats in their house or what that situation is there. But for whatever it was, it's the results that led him. It's the thing that led him to being here with us. It does say that he gets along with children of all ages, and that he also gets along with dogs. So I guess their only issue was how he was behaving with the other cats. So something to consider if you're thinking about making him part of your family. He is a beautiful cat, and he is, of course, a ragdoll. So some people might be, drawn to his beautiful features, his blue eyes, all of that stuff, the fact that he is a breed, but you want to make sure it's the right fit for him and for you. So if you have a lot of other cats in your house, given his history, maybe he's not the right match for you. In addition to that information, the previous owner says that he's playful, he's calm, he's easily able to be handled, he's a lap cat, things that our staff here has found to be true because they color coded him blue, which means he's the most easygoing, the most able to be handled, adjusts well to new situations, really likes the attention. And that doesn't happen very often. So he has a lot of good things going for him, but you do want to make sure that it is a good fit. Right now he does have some issues with his fur. It's a little greasy, a little oily, so it does need some maintenance. He's definitely going to need to be brushed and putting a lot of effort into that to make sure that his coat stays nice and healthy. If you are interested in making Neptune part of your family, you can visit with him here at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. Our next guest is Bella, and while her name is a little bit more common and she's a domestic shorthair, which is common here, her appearance makes her very unique. She definitely has a look that helps her stand out from the other animals on the adoption floor, just with how her markings and her coloring is. She is a white with brown tabby, so you always do the color that there's the most of first, so there's more white on her body, and then the brown tabby kind of highlights and things on her head and her back. She has those two little dots on her nose, and then she has little dots next to her nose. Just the way that the brown tabby kind of comes down over the top of her head really makes her stand out when you're walking past. So that's a good thing for her. It helps her, be a little bit more noticed on the adoption floor. She is a 2 to 3 year old cat. She is color-coded orange, which means that she's individually average. I have actually not had a great deal of interaction with her, but when I opened up her cage today to get her out for the show, she didn't run and hide in her cage. She just kind of stayed where she was. She let me pet her. She started to purr a little bit. Then she let me pick her up and carry her out here with no problem. So I think that says a lot about her, given the fact that shelter life can be a pretty stressful way to live for one of the animals in our care. She does have a tendency to come to the front. She's not like some of the other cats that are constantly, trying to grab your attention, but she does come to the front from time to time, and when she's ready to kind of hang out by herself, she'll just sit, quietly in her cage, which, she's a typical cat. She was brought to us after being owned for only a week, but the person said that they got her from a friend, so I'm not sure what made that transition from I'm going to take your cat to I'm going to surrender it to the shelter. But since they were friends, hopefully the information given is accurate since they've only had the cat for a week. They say that she's been around women and children, that she's friendly, calm, you're able to handle her easily, that she's a lap cat. Right now the vacuum is actually going, and she is fine with that, which is an uncommon thing. Most of the cats here freak out with just the air vent noise. So, she's a pretty solid a cat, if you're looking for a cat that's going to be able to handle noises and lots of children and those types of things, maybe she would be a good fit for you. Her adoption fee at Animal Control is $97.50. Our last feline for you today is BMO, and she's about 6 to 7 months old. She's been with us actually since March, which is interesting because, normally people want to snatch kittens like BMO up because she's so cute and she's adorable and she's just young. But BMO is a little bit on the shy side, and then she got an upper respiratory infection, which is very common here, just a cold. And then we found out that she tested positive for coccidia, which is a parasite. So that kind of has deterred people, but she's gone through all of her treatments. So now she is healthy. She tested negative for for coccidia, which is the parasite she was suffering from. She's gotten over her upper respiratory infection, and now she's ready to take that next step into a new and loving home. She is a little shy, and you can definitely see that here with the noises of people coming and going, opening doors. It's made her a little bit uneasy, but when she's comfortable in an environment like her cage right now, she is the sweetest little girl. She is your typical kitten who wants to play and be petted. She's not necessarily running up to the front of her cage, but once you engage her, she's really interested. Today, when I went to get her out of her cage, she was like, "Oh, a visitor," and then you open it up, and then she kind of goes back to her bed where it's kind of her safe space, and she's fine with you petting her in there. She starts to purr, she rolls around, she's very interested, but again, it's going to take her a little time to feel comfortable in a new environment. So you just want to, excuse me, make sure you're prepared to be patient with her as she's adjusting to a new environment. And as we talked earlier in the show with Whisper, making sure that you're really giving her that 10-day isolation period to adjust so that you're not overwhelming her with a lot of new things all at once. If you are interested in BMO, you can visit her here at Frederick County Animal Control and Pet Adoption Center. We are open to the public 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday. So that's going to wrap it up for the cat portion of our show. For all of our dog fans, after the break, we're going to introduce you to 4 of our adoptable dogs and 1 guinea pig.
Hi, I'm Tracy, and this is Catherine. We are Frederick County 911 dispatchers, and we're here to tell you what to expect when dialing 911.
We're on the line to listen, and we also have important instructions to give you. Your 911 operator needs to get essential information from you as quickly as possible by asking the following questions in this order.
What is the address of the emergency so we can send the right help to the right location? What is the phone number you're calling from? If the line disconnects, we may need to call you back. What is your name so we can address you properly? And tell me exactly what happened. Asking these questions allows operators to start dispatch to emergencies quickly.
Your 911 operator is often working closely with 1 or more dispatchers, obtaining important information which is relayed to responders who are on the way to your location while you are still on the phone.
This process is repeated on each call to ensure responders get to each emergency as quickly and safely as possible with the right information to provide the best service they can.
Law enforcement, fire and rescue, and other responders rely on 911 operators and dispatchers to obtain specific information that varies with each type of call. Sometimes it may seem as though your 911 operator is asking a series of unnecessary questions, but in fact this information is vital for getting the right help sent to the right place. Often, help is already on the way while your 911 operator is talking to you.
While emergency crews are responding, dispatchers continue to provide them with updated information gathered by your 911 operator.
Also, your 911 operator may be able to provide you with important life-saving direction, from how to safely exit a building on fire to CPR instruction, providing important information for staying safe and out of danger during a vehicle accident, as well as helping a caller deliver a baby.
For more information, visit frederickcountymd.gov/911 or call the non-emergency number at 301-600-1603.
Child abuse is not an isolated problem. It affects each of us, and it is only through each of us that child abuse can be prevented. Get involved. Call the Child Advocacy Center to find out how to help. 301-600-1758.
Welcome back. Our first guest is representing the small animal room. This is Peanut, and Peanut is one of the many animals that live in there right now. We have, I want to say approximately 6 or 7 guinea pigs, 6 or 7 rabbits, maybe even more now that are available for adoption. So if you're interested in those kind of more exotic pets, then stop in and visit us. A lot of people get their guinea pigs from PetSmart, Petco, which is where Peanut came from, but we do have those types of animals available for adoption here. And our fees are great because we adopt our guinea pigs out for a fee of only $10, and then if you were to adopt 2 guinea pigs, then you would get 2 for $15, so you really can't beat that deal. Peanut is about a year old, and he is one of our orange color-coded guinea pigs. He's used to being handled. He's very friendly. He talks to people. He likes to be around people. He's very social. Guinea pigs are social creatures, but sometimes they're not handled enough to want to be petted and loved on, and fortunately, that's not the case with Peanut. What made him become part of the shelter community? Unfortunately, the owner's cat was very interested in Peanut, and no matter where they were putting him in the house, the cat just kept trying to get to the guinea pig. So for his safety, they surrendered him to us so that we could find him a new home. It is very important that you're thinking about what other animals you have in your home before you bring in a small creature like a guinea pig or rabbit or hamster, gerbil, whatever it may be. You want to make sure that they're not going to become in danger by your existing cats, dogs, what have you. So you really need to think about that. Putting their cages up high, leaving them in rooms with the door shut, so that everybody is going to be safe. You also want to make sure that you're doing proper research. These animals do require special care. They have to have certain things in their diet. So you want to make sure that you're providing them with the proper care so that they have long and healthy, happy lives. They do have a shorter lifespan than the typical pet, cats and dogs, but they can live 6 to 8 years, I think is the high end. So around that 5 to 6 range usually. So they are a great starter pet. Especially Peanut, because he's so social already. If you're interested, you can visit them here at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. Our first dog guest today is Max, and he is a 1-year-old little pocket pit bull, and I myself am partial to the little pocket pitties. He only weighs about 28 pounds, so you get all the pit bull energy, all those pit bull characteristics, but in half the size. He is a handsome brindle. He's got those great pointy ears. He's just an active guy. He's full of energy, full of life, super excited to see people. He can be a little anxious sometimes, so that you got to balance those two things out. But he's just super sweet, and he's going to make a great dog for any person, especially if you live in a smaller home. Some apartments have issues with pit bulls, but if you live in an apartment that allows pit bulls, he's going to be a great size dog to have in that kind of a smaller environment. Or if you're not sure about how you can handle a large dog, but you kind of want large dog personality. Max is has been brought to us because it was, it says here, landlord's decision, after they had owned him for just about 2 months. So what I'm going to say there is that's why we don't just adopt to anyone. That's why we call landlords. We don't want to put the animals, the owners, or the landlords in the position of having to say, this dog can't be here, you need to get rid of it, or this cat, or what have you. That's why we call all the landlords before we adopt out to renters to make sure that their landlord has approved for them to have either a specific type of pet or an additional pet, or what they need to do to make sure that that is acceptable, so that the animals don't end up back in a shelter environment. According to the owner, in the time that they were able to get to know Max, they said that he gets along with cats and other dogs. He's been around children of all ages. He's playful, energetic, friendly, used to baths, nail trims, walks on a leash, rides well in a car. If you're a gardener or you do a lot of things with working gloves, beware. Apparently he thinks that they are toys and loves to play with them. So that's something that he might snag off of out of the yard or off of a table or something like that. But otherwise, he's a pretty great dog, other than the little bits of anxiety that he's been showing here. He reacts favorably to some dogs, but he can bark defensively at others sometimes. He's a little bouncy on the leash, so some leash walking training will be great. He was a little bit afraid of our artificial hand that we use for testing food aggression, so little things like that, but he loves to be petted. Overall, our staff say that he's a sweet dog, but he can just get a little anxious. So you just need to know how to cope with that. But overall, again, a great little dog. If you wanted to visit with Max, you could do so here at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. We're open to the public Monday through Saturday. Our next dog is Torque, and Torque is a handsome white and fawn pit bull. He is about 5 years old, so he qualifies for our senior discount. He has gorgeous ice blue eyes, but sometimes what happens when you hit that combination of a white dog and the blue eyes and all that stuff, just like with anything else, sometimes they're deaf. So Torque is one of our adoptable dogs, but he is deaf. We've had deaf animals on the floor before. We've had blind animals on the floor before. We treat them as if they are any other animal. But it is something that you really need to take into consideration before making the step to adopt him. Can you handle that? Can you deal with that? You have to make sure that you're not running up and startling him. You want to make sure that he can see people before people are touching him and petting him. You can't just walk up on him when he's asleep. You got to kind of try to stomp your feet and things like that so he can feel vibrations. Because we don't want him to feel scared in whatever home he ends up in by people creeping up on him, because he just can't hear you. Dogs that are deaf can learn sign language, and his owner has taken the time in the 5 years that she's had him to teach him some sign language. So we ask all of the people who are surrendering their pets to us to write down information about them, and there's also a section where it says you can leave your phone number. She has given her phone number and has written on here, call me, so that you can get his sign language commands and his cues, so that whoever adopts him can be familiar with what he's used to, so they can continue working with him, so that he knows what he's supposed to do as far as good manners and things like that. So why did he end up here? The owner has another dog, and that dog is apparently not very tolerant. So a 12-year-old dog's just not into what this 5-year-old dog wants to do anymore. They say, obviously, he's scared and he's nervous when he's scared by accident. He's a chaser. He's friendly. He's a barker. He tends to bark at things that he's not sure of. There's a lot of information about Torque here. He's your typical pit bull, but he does have a special need, so you want to make sure you can accommodate that and properly care for him. If you think that you have that skill set, or you are experienced already and you know that you can do it, you can visit with Torque here at 1832 Rosemont Avenue. This beautiful girl is Luna, and she is an 8.5-year-old hound mix. She's tricolor in color, although mostly it's her black and her white that stands out. She was brought to us for a very common reason here. A child in the home is now allergic to the dog, so the dog has been surrendered to us so that we can rehome her after basically, her entire life. According to the previous owner, she's playful, energetic, she's friendly, She can be a roamer wanderer, barker jumper. Those are all kind of hound characteristics. So she does need a little, even though she's an older dog, she does need to, as they say, learn some new tricks, which she is perfectly capable of doing if you find the right motivation. A lot of dogs are treat motivated, some are toy motivated, so you just have to find what works for her so that you can encourage her to not jump up on people, not jump over fences, and to reward her when she's quiet so that she understands that if she's not barking, then she's going to get an awesome treat. If she's barking and things like that, if you're giving her treats, then you're rewarding that behavior, so then she learns to do it more frequently. It says that she can also be nervous when she's left alone. And then the other thing that we briefly touched on, roamer wanderer, that's a common thing with hounds. They follow their nose, so you want to make sure that you have done a little bit of research about hounds. Once they hit a scent, they're going to follow it. It doesn't matter that they're leaving the yard, that they're pulling you. So you want to really understand those characteristics and be able to work with them. It does say that, according to her previous owner, she is house trained, but not crate trained. So you do want to make sure that you're working on that, and you really want to treat every dog that you adopt from a shelter or rescue, for that matter, as if it's not house trained, because it's going to be a new situation. They're learning new cues from you, things like that, new routines. So you want to make sure that you're prepared to do a little bit of a refresher there. She's friendly and excited when you approach her. She reacts favorably to dogs walking past her kennel. She's easy to obtain. She's a little difficult to walk. She might benefit from a harness and some polite leash walk training. But she likes to be petted. She's just overall a good dog who's feeling a little nervous right now in the shelter, but will hopefully warm up quickly in a new loving home. If you're interested in this senior dog, you can visit her here at the shelter. Seniors get a reduction in their adoption fee, so she would go home instead of $92.50 for $72.50. The last dog that we have for you today is one that is quickly becoming one of my personal favorites. This is Divot, and she's approximately 3 to 4 years old. She is an American Staffordshire Terrier mix, and which means she falls kind of into that pocket pity category, much like Max. She's a little bit heavier, weighing in at 42 pounds, but still a good size if you have a smaller home. But again, you still want that kind of big dog energy. Because she came to us as a stray, we're still learning a lot about her, but talking to some of the staff, pretty much everyone has already fallen in love with her. Number one, before you even interact with her, she's the cutest thing you've ever seen. She is a blue brindle. She's just super cute. She's always excited to see people, smile on her face, tail wagging. She comes right up to you to greet you. According to her behavior assessment, she keeps her kennel clean. She's very friendly when you approach her. No issues with other dogs. She either has good reactions, the tail wagging, things like that, or she has no reaction at all. She's easy to obtain. She could use a little bit of a harness, like most of dogs of her breed. She can pull a little bit. No issues with food aggression. Not really super interested in toys, but loves to be petted. So she's just kind of a great mix. She came to us, as a stray, so we will make sure that she gets spayed before she finds a new forever family. She's also been given all of her preventative vaccines. She's been dewormed. We've gone ahead and microchipped her. So she's going to be all set for when her new family comes in to find her. If you are looking to make Divot or any of the animals that you've seen on the show today part of your family, the first step is obviously to come in and visit, fill out those applications, meet all of your requirements, and then hopefully we'll send you home with a great new addition. If you want to come in, our hours where the kennels are available to visitors are going to be Monday, Tuesday, and Friday from 10 to 5, Wednesday and Thursday from 12 to 8, and on Saturdays from 10 to 4. We hope you enjoyed meeting some of our adoptable animals, and we hope that you'll tune in again next week. Thanks for watching.